welcome to this week's Chatty Tutorial Tuesday. So I'm going to be doing speed makeup, so let's just get straight on into it. I started out by moisturising my face using my simple moisturiser. Just rubbing that into my skin. I wasn't really concentrating, so I did my e.l.f. Halo Glow before my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I just like having this kind of glow under my makeup. I couldn't find my sponge, so I blended it out with a brush instead. I'm using the Real Techniques Expert Facial Brush. I realised I'd missed a step out when doing my concealer, so I went back to primer. I use the same Real Techniques brush to blend out the primer. I use this brush a lot. I know that probably does sound disgusting. I then went back to my concealer using the RL Filter Finishing Concealer. Not using too much, then quickly blending this out because it does dry quite quick, I find. But that is me personally. Just making sure to blend it out. I'm then going in with my Maybelline Fit Me powder to set my concealer. In the places I put it, I just put it under my under eyes to let my skin where I have a spot breathe. I'm then going to blend that out, just checking using a compact mirror. I then add some more powder because I decided to add a little bit more. I'm then taking my Real Techniques blush brush and I'm using my Rimmel Natural Bronzer. This is a very natural bronzer, but you can build it up. I really like this bronzer. Like, this would be a favourite bronzer for me, personally. I just add some down my neck. Put it on my cheeks and my forehead to bronze myself up. I'm then going in with my Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Puff. This is a pale pink shade. I use a lot of this blush, so I'm just using my compact mirror to check that my blush is blended out. I use a lot on one side and then realise I need to add to the other side to make them match. I then finally find my sponge and I use my sponge, the Real Techniques Beauty Blender, to blend out the blush and just tone it down a bit. I'm adding some more blush to the other side to make both sides match. And I'm also adding blush to my nose. I then use the Real Techniques blush brush to blend that out. I am using my compact mirror to help me make sure that everything is blended out. I then use another Real Techniques brush and I use the Makeup Revolution Reloaded highlighter. I like gold highlighters, so I just put it on the tops of my cheeks, on my brow bone, because I really like a good old brow bone highlight. I normally put e.l.f. Halo Glow on the tops of my cheeks, but I decided to skip that step, so I moved on to eye primer using my Barry M Lid Lock eyeshadow primer. This primer is the only primer I've ever used since using eye primer, so I'm just using a Real Techniques Expert Crease brush to apply the eye primer, but I've used a sponge to blend it out, or you can use your finger. Just had to reposition slightly. I'm then deciding which eyeshadow palette to use. I use the MUA Professional Peacock palette, so I start with the mid-tone blue, like not the lightest blue but not the darkest blue, in my crease. I'm just using a brush I would use on my lower lash line so that I don't end up making it go too far above my crease, because I don't want it to go all the way up to my eyebrows, because we're not going for that dramatic today. I just go over a couple of times, then I use a blending brush to blend that out just to make it a bit softer. I then use a spectrum brush to deepen up the outer corner. I use the darkest blue on the outer corner. I just build it up till I'm happy with it. I then take the blending brush and blend it out just to make both shades kind of mix in while still having that deepened up effect. I normally don't blend too much, like I just blend enough to make it look blended without taking away too much of the intensity. For my inner corner, I go into the MUA Bright Lust palette and use the silver shade. I really like this silver shade, it's such a good inner corner highlight shade. Then on my lower lash line, I use the blue shade from the MUA Bright Lust palette on one of my other Real Techniques brushes. I then apply a shimmer. I use a spectrum brush. This is my favourite shimmer brush. I always spray my shimmers, so I'm just finding my setting spray. I use my Max Factor Performance Lasting Setting Spray, and I use this blue shimmer from the Soph X Revolution palette. I really like this blue shimmer, it's my favourite shimmer in the palette. Like, this shadow really benefits from spraying, or you can use your finger, either works really well. just building up the shimmer. I have hit pan, so I'm gradually getting towards the end of that shimmer. I then use a Barry M pencil liner to line my waterline. I then use my Maybelline Hyper Precise liner to do a black winged eyeliner. I love this eyeliner, it's so good, it's so precise. Obviously I'm maybe not quite as precise today because I had shaky hands, so I'm just doing it as precise as possible. Also I had to be a bit quick, so I'm just doing it as precise as possible. This probably isn't my best winged eyeliner. I end up messing up, so I grab a cotton pad. I use Sainsbury's own brand micellar water to clean it up. I then add the blue shadow on the lower lash line from the MUA Bright Lush palette back onto my eyes after taking it off because I made a mascara, an eyeliner mistake. I just said mascara, I meant eyeliner. So I'm just re-adding that shade, just trying to make sure it matches the other side. So I had the corresponding look on both sides. I then use my Rimmel Stay Gloss. I really love this gloss. This is my favourite gloss. I then use my Maybelline Sky High Mascara, which looks amazing on my lashes with barely any effort. So I just add a quick one coat of mascara, quickly do some on the lower lash line. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.